Port Arthur Independent School District Board of Trustees meeting, April 24th. Well, whatever. We will now reconvene. We have no public participation today. We will now move to staff reports by Dr. Mark Portery.
Thank you, President Lofton and school board members. Tonight we have a long agenda, but one thing that stands out is that we're here to recognize our athletes, our soccer players who has done an extraordinary job this year. So let's give them a huge round of applause. Yes, they made it exciting. They kept moving, and we were hoping that they would get to that. I think that's the closest our soccer team has ever come to playing in the state. So we are most proud of y'all. We'll ask the coaches to come forward and introduce your team. Yes. Go, Coach Bradford. Yes. And if you would, just tell us a little bit about what you had to do this year. What did they have to do in order to be successful as they were for the 24-25 school year?
All right, my name is Coach Chris Bradford. I teach U.S. history at the high school, and I've been coaching these boys for the last 8 years now. This is my 8th year. The boys worked really, really hard. I'm glad they're getting the recognition they deserve this year. They work hard every year. This year, the dominoes fell the correct way, so the boys are getting the recognition. I'm very happy for them. But it started off in the summer. Dr. Portery, you know by experience, because we would run into each other in the workout rooms. But yeah, the boys started this summer. That was the first year that we actually had the summer training program. And I hope to extend that even further down the schools and have a middle school training and have an elementary school camp. Big plans and things that we want to do for the future. But the boys, they did a really good job. If I can tell you guys anything, the hardest workout, don't matter if you're deadlifting, bench pressing, the hardest workout is sprints. I can tell you right now, nobody wants to do full field sprints 20 times. And these boys put in the work. They did what they had to do to get where they, to achieve the goals that we set out for this year. So I'm super proud of them. Coach Walton, my assistant coach here, played a vital role in it. For a few years, I was kind of doing it alone. He came in and he helped out a bunch. We have another assistant coach who's working with the middle school at their games right now who helped out a bunch. All of those things coming together really brought the success and helped the boys soccer team paint Port Arthur Memorial in the positive light that it should be painted every day. So
absolutely awesome. And if you would have your team come and maybe introduce them, I must say that you have a very well dressed team. I mean, they look like
we'll take you seriously. Come on up, boys. Come on up. Y'all come line up over here. Just line up.
Yes.
For everybody. I'd like to cordially invite everybody to our soccer ceremony as well. We have our soccer ceremony tomorrow at 6 p.m. in the cafeteria at the high school. Guys, this way and then face this way in a straight line.
Yes.
And we have our, we'll have food, we have a good time. We have our end of season recap video that we show. That's usually a big hit with all of the parents and students. This is our 24-25 varsity and JV boys soccer team. We've got returning players, we've got brand new players. I've got my guy Diasneti Perez. He's brand new. He's coming from Cuba. It was a great addition to our team. We welcome all of our immigrants with open arms on our soccer team. We've got we do. We have Emiliano Tenaharo here. He played defense for us, did a great job in the defense. We have Oscar Salgado. He's our varsity football kicker as well, and he did a very big role and vital role for the soccer team this year. We've got Brandon Gutierrez, played a great part in the midfield. We've got Osvaldo. He played a big part in our goalkeeper and our JV team and on the 7v7 team. We've got Marco Valencia. He also was our JV goalkeeper and our backup varsity goalkeeper. We have Marlon Santos. He was one of our better players for our varsity team, scored a lot of goals and a lot of assists. We have Ezekiel St. Louis, another player who's very versatile, very good player, scored a lot of goals, lots of assists. We have Henry Chacon. He was playing football, and he's also playing forward for us as well. On the further side, we have Devin Villarena. He's been a big help from at the Wilson Early College. We have Ian Hernandez. He's a senior, been a very big help for our program for the last 4 years. We have Luis Garcia, another player who did very impactful, was very big for the defense. And then we have Food Boy, a brand new member to our soccer team, and he played on the JV team, did a very fantastic job, so we made sure he was here today with us too. This is our 24-25 boys varsity and JV soccer team. Thank you guys for letting us have this moment. You guys can be seated. Come on.
Yes. We also have with us the principal of Memorial High, if he would like to say something. Yeah. And we now, I see someone in the back that's no stranger to us. The female Coach Bradford, the mother of our soccer coach that he didn't introduce, so I'm gonna get him in trouble tonight. So, as his mother,
yes, this is my mother, Coach Bradford. Yes, I've been. She passed me the torch.
Yes.
As she's retired to take care of my little ones. As you can see, they're a handful.
Yes.
I'm not gonna lie, I act like that too at home, but.
Oh wow, Coach Bradford, stand up. Let's see. You're here out of support. We thank you. Yes.
She taught the district for I believe about 40 years.
Yes.
So it's big shoes to fill for me, but I'm trying my hardest.
Absolutely.
Good evening to everyone here. I do want to give a congratulations to our soccer team and our soccer coaches. As you see them dressed now is how they dress every game day when they come to school. And that's always impressive. The mindset changes once you put on clothes and you know it's game day and not just a regular day at school. So that's always super impressive. These soccer kids work extremely hard in the classroom and on the practice field. And it's one of the most amazing things to see them actually be a team. It was in the playoff game. I vividly remember one of their players got hurt and a goal happened. The other team scored a goal and everybody on the team immediately surrounded him, pick his head up, lift him up. It's not your fault. It's okay. We're going to battle back. Ended up winning the game, which is excellent. Obviously moving on to the next round. But it was in that moment right there that you can easily, vividly see that this is a team, this is a family, that everybody on here cares about each other, and it's not just about the win, but it's about us working together. So to the team, that was a really beautiful moment. Congratulations to you guys. And also to our two coaches, it's impressive to see Coach Bradford be a head coach of a varsity sport, playoff contending sport, as well as be a EOC teacher, teaching U.S. history, working hard inside of the classroom, and then going right to the soccer field and working hard for those boys there too. So Coach and Coach Walton here is a street law teacher, so also in the social studies department, football coach as well. It's never enough thanks to give with how much you guys do for kids outside of the job role, and I want to publicly thank you too for doing what you guys do for our soccer boys. Thank you, boys.
Coach Walton, do you have anything you'd like to say?
Hey, I've been honored to be here 2 years with Coach Bradford. I've learned a lot from him. I've got to coach these great kids. They're awesome. They work hard. They play hard. They're a good team. And I am honored to be able to coach them.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any board member would like, go ahead.
First and foremost, I want to extend my sincerest, heartfelt congratulations to you all and commend you on a job well done this season. It was just overly just a joy to hear that we are really excelling in all sports, not just football and basketball, the ones we primarily hear. And I do want to give a huge congratulations and thank you to our district for allowing us the opportunity to, of course, celebrate you because this right here shows the power of diversity. We have a lot of diversity in our district, and I think that diversity is the word that we should be embodying and preparing our community for, especially as we see our demographics are changing. And so it's super imperative that you all stay the course. And also I'm an advocate for education. I always wear my TSU SWAC championship ring. Our soccer team won SWAC champion for the first time. So I want you to continue on with this. Go to college and get you a scholarship playing soccer, doing something you love, doing something you're used to doing, and make them pay for that school. Get that education. It makes the price tag go up. Trust me, I know. But I just want to say congratulations to you all, and don't take this lightly. Take this and run with it and excel and elevate. You have our support.
Yes, I would like to say congratulations to the soccer team and also to Coach Bradford. Mr. Bradford, when he first came into the district, I remember when he first came in, and he came in with full of energy, and he's still with that amount of energy today. I knew when we made that decision for him to be the soccer coach, that was one of the best things that we can do, along with the upbringing, you know, the legendary, your mother, the legendary coach who I coached with at the school and when she was here at Memorial. But thank you for the tireless days that you put in work to get this team to where they need to be. I do pride in saying that we do put people in the right places for the right reasons at the right time, and you're that guy at the right time. So we thank you for your dedication.
Okay, good evening. And I'll just piggyback off of Trustee Getwood as well as Trustee Barty. I would, utter the same sentiments as them. Kudos to you, Coach, because there's definitely a testament of what you're doing to bring them to that level, your knowledge, your expertise, and just, as you said, in and outside of the classroom, continuing to keep up with the professional look that they have on game days. It makes a whole big different mindset. So just everything that you're doing, continue to do. It's so awesome. I'm so excited for the soccer. I want to also give a moment of kudos to Ms. Lott, because just as well as everybody, it may have not got as many shares as football, but she kept that same energy with the promotion of our soccer team throughout the year as well for their playoffs and everything. I look forward to her posts. I look forward to sharing them and just being excited for you guys. And I'm grateful for you putting us on the map with the soccer. I know we'll only get better from here and just continue to be great.
Anybody else?
Dr. Brown. I too want to join my colleagues in saying congratulations to all of you. I'm very impressed with and appreciative of the work that you've done all year long. And you look sharp, as Dr. Portery mentioned. And I'm so delighted to hear about the family connection in coaching, the coaching family. So glad to see Ms. Bradford and Coach, your enthusiasm. You made me want to go out and run. So with your enthusiastic way of communicating. So thank you very much. I also just briefly want to acknowledge what also Trustee Getwood said about, traditionally we talk about football and basketball, but I happened to be at the track meet last couple of days ago at Challenger Stadium, and I saw Principal Small at the track meet. We did very well. The fact that we qualified in so many areas, I was just very proud of, and I was particularly proud of the 4x400 runners, which meant to qualify for state you have to be in the top 2. And they did very, very well. So congratulations. I couldn't get a ride to the stadium, though. I had to walk across the field because I was trying my best to flag somebody down to give me a ride, Superintendent Portery, because the traffic was so bad on NASA Parkway that couldn't get there in time. But I eventually made it, and I figured out a way. Anyway, congratulations, everybody. Proud of you.
I'd like to say congratulations to everyone. I don't know too much about soccer, but I tell you what, I know lots about lacrosse. So one year we might implement lacrosse at the high school. That's just my opinion now. But you guys did a great job. Thank you very much.
Again, thank you to our coaches. He said one thing that was very valuable, that we started at the middle school and he was going to reach out to the elementary and try to get them involved. It takes a village for our kids to succeed, and it has to start when they're in elementary so they can see the fruit of their labor once they get to high school. And this is from working out from when they were younger And now look at it, and it's gonna continue to grow. So thank you, Coach Bradford. Thank you, Coach Walton.
Okay. Dr. Small, Coach Bradford, Coach Walton, and to the best team in the state of Texas. Once again, thank you for what you have done. And on behalf of the Board of Trustees and the Port Arthur Independent School District, you are the best. You are better than any other team because you're ours. You belong to PAISD. You're our students, and you are the best. You're better than any other team in this region. You're better than any other team in this state. You rock. And on behalf of that, we won't ask you to stay and listen to the rest of us because you are very poised, and I know you'll be like, how long do I have to sit here through this? So thank you again for joining us. Okay. As we move on, we do have representatives from the Thomas Jefferson Middle School campus, along with the principal, Dr. Christy Lewis. And I will say this, they're coming to present to the board an initiative that they want. And once again, I will say this, that Thomas Jefferson, along with all of our employees, are the very best. I will say this, we will put you up against any other teacher in this region. There's no other teacher, no other group of teachers that can teach our kids better than you. And you know, we hear it all the time. When you come through Port Arthur, you can teach anywhere in the state of Texas because you're just that good. So thank you. Thank you for being here this afternoon. Dr. Lewis.
Thank you. I would first like to begin by echoing the sentiments for the soccer team, because right now we have something special that we're building within soccer, because our middle school team has actually been undefeated thus far. So we're actually building something great. So I'm still waiting on the text to see the outcome from tonight because we're playing right now, but we have been undefeated, and so we're happy about that. But without further ado, my name is Christy Lewis. I am the building principal at Thomas Jefferson Middle School, and I have tonight with me my team. And I do want to take a moment just to recognize my team, because this is not an I, me, or my process. This is a we process. I cannot run that building alone. I run it with the assistance and the guidance of my teachers, because I look to them for their expertise, because they're in the trenches every single day in the classrooms with the students. And so I do appreciate them. So at this time, I would like for them to stand with me, please. These are some of the teachers from my campus. Of course, we have 125 staff members, but this is just a small portion. But these are some that could be at home sleeping, watching TV, and doing other things. And they chose to be here with us tonight to support this initiative, so I'm so happy about it. When I call your name, please just raise your hand. I have Ms. Malloy with me, our Algebra 1 teacher, Ms. Kennerly, CTE, Ms. Harmon, our 8th grade counselor, Ms. Caneo, ESL ELOR, Ms. Ustay, 8th grade math, Ms. Boudreaux, art, Mr. Dowden, social studies, my awesome secretary, Mrs. Clavel, Ms. Nico, 7th grade math, Ms. Anderson, content mastery, Ms. Ty Roberts, science, Ms. McNeil, health, Ms. Davis, which is, she oversees our Restore program. I also have Ms. Falomo with us, and that is math, and Ms. Lowell, excellent 6th grade teacher. I have Mr. Willer is actually a husband of Mrs. Willer, but he supports us as though he's employed with us, so we appreciate him.
We got to get him a shirt on.
And I do have Mrs. Willer right here with us, so I do appreciate my entire team for being here with us. What did I miss? I'm sorry. Could I see someone?
He said that?
Ms. Lowell and Ms.
Okay, good. Okay, I thought it was
Okay,
someone
thank you
else.
all so much. You may be seated. I also have with me my feeder pattern principals, if they may stand at this time in support of our initiative. We have Mrs. Short from Sam Houston. We have Dr. Crochet from Terrell Elementary. We have Mr. Sampson from Lakeview Elementary and Mr. Taylor from Travis Elementary. So this is the support we have and the people that I have been speaking with in building. Yes, sir.
You forgot one person. He's sitting back there.
I know, and I'm about to say it too. So I have some of my awesome family with me. My daddy, Aubrey Lewis, and my sister also joined us, Joy Giller.
And of course, he's a coach too. He should have stood up with the rest of the coaches.
We have another family member, Dee Dee, who is the son of my awesome secretary. So thank you, Dee Dee, for being here. Look, I know that our family members mean the most to us because they have to hear our moans and groans and complaints. So I'm so happy that they're here with us tonight. And so we will move forward into this. You will see the names of some of our teachers that were introduced. So I had a committee that helped me put this proposal together because, again, I trust and I entrust the expertise of our staff. So they did help me put this together. They put it together, actually, and we presented it to Dr. Portery and Dr. Owens. And now we're bringing it to the board for support and approval as well. So we do appreciate you all for this, for allowing us to do this. So beginning, it's basically a GT, and we want to bring the spark back to education. And so we service our special ed kids, we service our general ed kids. So what about our gifted and talented students in middle school? And so this is just a program that we want to start. I don't believe in starting something and not being able to follow through. So it is a pilot program. This will only be about 25 sixth graders accepted this year as a pilot to see if it works. Because I don't believe in just putting things out there, start in full force and full hog, and then it collapse. So I want to start small and then eventually grow it big. And so this is IGNITE. IGNITE stands for Inspiring Growth, Nurturing Innovation and Talent, and Excellence. And it is a pilot program. So the identified instructors, some are with us tonight, and you did hear their names. Ms. Harris will be the 6th grade ELAR. Ms. Lawal will be the 6th grade Science. Ms. Falomo will be the 6th grade Math. Ms. E. Roberts, and we are keeping her in our prayer. She was life-flighted with a health challenge over the Easter break, but she is well. I've spoken with her, and she will be back on Monday. So I have some troopers and some riders with me, and I'm grateful for that. Coach Knowles is actually coaching soccer right now, so she's not with us, but she will be taking over the Lifetime Sports, and then Ms. Boudreaux is also in the audience with art. We have Region 5 training scheduled for identified cohort instructors May 9th through 14th and May 22nd, and our consultant for that is Region 5, Mr. Johnny Vines. The introduction is at Thomas Jefferson Middle School. We strive to meet the diverse needs of all students, ensuring that each learner reaches their full potential. However, our current curriculum does not fully address the needs of all of our high-achieving and gifted students. Implementing an IGNITE program will provide these students with the necessary academic challenges and enrichment to keep them engaged, motivated, and successful. What is the IGNITE program? So, it is a specialized educational program to address the needs for the gifted and talented, because that is considered a special needs or a special education area as well. So it will challenge the students, it will provide enrichment activities, allow for acceleration in certain subjects, and encourage critical thinking. It will be approximately 20 to 25 students, and thank you to Ms. Nico. The credits will be at the bottom of each slide for the teachers that contributed to these slides. The key benefits of an IGNITE program: it will challenge them. Individualized learning, social and emotional growth, exposure to advanced opportunities, and college and career readiness. My motto since I've become the principal of Thomas Jefferson Middle School has been exposure expands expectations. And so we want to expose these children outside of things in Port Arthur, Texas, because the world is bigger than Port Arthur, Texas. And so I remember getting those experiences and that exposure that assisted me in wanting to explore more in the world than just Port Arthur, Texas. Program goals will be intellectual growth, career exploration, and creativity and problem solving. So we will be looking at differentiated instruction, not scaffolding down, but scaffolding up. We're looking at ability grouping, passion projects. Make certain that it's something that the children are interested in, something that they want to learn, something that they want to know. Because when children are bored in class, they will create discipline or disruptions within the classroom setting. And so when you do things that they are interested in, they're more apt to actually follow through, follow along, and want to do the work. And so that's where we're at. Mentorship programs, project-based learning, and collaborative learning. Identifying the GT students. How will we identify them? We will use a multidimensional approach. The STAR scores will be a part of that application process. The COGAT test will be a part of that process as a standardized test. And then we'll look at portfolio assessments, student letter identifying academic strengths, and what they would like to see in the academic setting, giving students a voice. Because once students know that you are listening to them and that you care about what they have to say, they will learn and they will do for you whatever you ask them to do when they know that you care about what they have to say, because children have a voice too. And I often tell the staff and talk to the staff and say, hey, we're going to discipline, but we're going to discipline with dignity. We're going to let the children know we're listening to them. I often take time out of my schedule throughout the day. If a kid want to speak to me, my secretary and everyone knows, hey, come and get me. Or write me an email so I can pull that kid out of class as soon as I'm available. So kids know that they have a voice on our campus. And so we want to expound upon that. And then, of course, their report cards and their progress report grades. We have provided you all with a portfolio, thanks to my secretary. She has put these portfolios together so graciously, and we will kind of take a little glance at that as well. But for the curriculum development of this, we're looking at differentiation again, project-based learning, interdisciplinary approach, independent study, and advanced technology. And the instructional strategies will be differentiation, inquiry-based learning, again, and Socratic seminars and philosophical inquiry. Structured discussions where students analyze and debate complex ideas. Too often we have quiet classrooms. Quiet classrooms does not mean learning is happening. And so you have to have discussions going on to actually know that they know what they're talking about. And once you make it competitive for them, they're even more engaged. We're looking at inquiry-based learning, encouraging students to explore real-world problems. So when they're looking at the news and looking at TikTok, and we might as well dive into it because that's where they're at and they're not leaving that. You know, so when we look at the inquiry-based learning and tell them, hey, you pick a science project off of TikTok, oh, they're going to run to that and do that because we're meeting them where they are. And so that is a big part of what this Gifted and Talented program, which we are calling Ignite, will be. With instructional strategies, we're always looking at mentorships and real-world connections. So they may have parents that work at the refinery, but they don't know what they do. It is time for us to expose these children to the maritime industry. And I know we do it in high school, but I'm saying start early. So the maritime industry is people out there that have a high school diploma, and they have not had to get into the debt that I may be in or anything, and they're making $200,000 and $300,000 on a tugboat. And so when they know that stuff and connect that and start taking field trips to the ports and doing things like that, that is what we're looking at for this program for our students, because they deserve the best. And a lot of times I often say I'm coming to get for everything that's for them, because they deserve it, and they deserve advocates to help them and support them and move them along the way, because we know that we can't do anything about the home, but we can do everything about the school. Gamification and competition-based learning, they're into esports. They're into the video games. Why not incorporate it into the curriculum so that they can have a chance at wanting to know, do, and build? That is a lucrative industry as well, and they may not have to go and get a 4-year degree. They may not have to go and get a master's or a doctorate. All those degrees, they're great. They're nice. I have them. But at the end of the day, they don't have to have it, and we know that all children are not academically inclined, just like all children are not athletically inclined. But there's something that is their niche that they will love and they will do. And then acceleration and tiered assignments. Allowing students to move through content at their own pace. Sometimes when they're in their gen ed setting and we have to scaffold and differentiate so much, we have to slow the pace down, where those GC kids are getting bored when we're slowing down. And so yes, our teachers are excellent and they know how to maneuver, but why not have a class that caters strictly to those fast-paced learners so they're not bored and so that they are interacting and being entertained at all times, and they can self-lead. A lot of them are self-led. A lot of them are self-starters and self-motivated, and so we just have to meet them where they are. And then the last of the instructional strategies, interdisciplinary and thematic learning, blending multiple subjects, and students being expected to do the mentorships. But blending the multiple subjects, you may have science that have done a project in there, and it can integrate into art. And so you will see some of those things that we have designed as well. Visual and applied arts. So we have Ms. Boudreaux in the room, and so what we want to do is design a program to challenge and inspire gifted young artists by providing opportunities for advanced artistic development, creating problem solving and exploration of diverse art forms. So she's already designed her program for next year. Middle school advanced visual arts. The first 9, they designed it basically by their 9-week structure. Foundations of art, elements of art, principles of art. Mixed media exploration, architecture and media arts, sculpture and 3D, special projects and enrichment opportunities. Coach Knowles, in her absence, have already designed her lifetime sports curriculum as well. She's looking at doing she's already broken hers down into 9 weeks, flag football, volleyball, basketball. Now, these will be intramural type sports. This will be mixed classes. So you will have boys and girls in it, but again, the cohort will only be 25 students. And so we're looking at doing flag football, volleyball, and basketball in their first 9 weeks. Second 9 weeks, strength training and aerobics we do, thanks to the board, have a newly orchestrated field house, well, not field house, but the workout equipment. I'm not an athlete, so I don't know the correct names and terminologies, but it is very nice. I have been in there, I've looked at it, but I need to use it. But we do have some very nice strength training equipment in there and aerobics, outdoor pursuits and cycling. And we are ordering bicycles because a lot of our kids, believe it or not, they don't go outside, so they don't even know how to ride a bike. You know, so we've ordered the bicycles, we've ordered the helmets, we've ordered knee pads and things like that in order to pursue safety as well. The third 9 weeks, we're looking at golf, fishing, and bowling. And then the fourth 9 weeks, badminton, tennis, floor hockey, and innovative games, cornhole, ping pong, pickleball, which is a new thing, but a lot of people are into it, and then the frisbee golf. Family and community is very important with this. The family and community have to be very, very involved in order for this to be successful. One of the most important factors in an Ignite student success is parental involvement. Parental involvement boosts student confidence. Engaged parents help gifted students stay motivated. Communication between parents and teachers enhance student growth. Parental advocacy ensures Ignite students receive the right academic support, emotional support from parents, because you know with gifted and talented kids sometimes comes a lot of emotional strength because they put so much on themselves. And so you need the support of the teachers and the parents. When parents are involved, students feel more confident in their abilities. Evaluation and improvement. How do we evaluate and improve our process? To ensure effectiveness, our Ignite pilot program will undergo a comprehensive evaluation using both qualitative and quantitative data. So we're going to be tracking these children. We're going to be looking at the data. We're going to see what they're doing. After evaluation, improvements will target any identified weakness. Ensuring equity, we're removing obstacles like financial limitations and lack of awareness to ensure inclusive participation. So this will be free. The students will not have to pay a dime. Our school funding that we currently have, because Dr. Portery makes certain that we are very financially responsible and fiscally responsible. And so we have already mapped out our need and our financial needs, and we have taken care of that within our current budget. And so we have done the work. Use culturally responsive methods for identifying and supporting gifted students. And this is a very special one near and dear to my heart because my mom taught for 34 years. She taught special education, life skills students for 34 years. Offer tailored accommodations for twice exceptional, which we are also known as 2E, students with both giftedness and learning differences. So you know you can have a child that may be identified as special ed on the spectrum in some type of way, but they're also gifted and talented. And so this program will be created for them. I've met some kids that's on the spectrum as far as autism or may have Asperger's or something like that, but they're pure geniuses. You know, so they may have some type of special ed accommodations. However, if they fit the needle and the academic needle for gifted and talented, they can participate as well. It's not, oh, because you're a special ed, you can't be gifted and talented. That's not true. And some people have that false thought that they can't be both. Yes, they can. And so that's something that I am definitely passionate about and working with. Pathway development for Ignite students at TJMS. Creating a pathway for the Ignite students of TJMS, 2 programs piloted within the last 4 years. So this is just basically speaking to the sentiments and the fidelity of the Thomas Jefferson Middle School campus and the programs that we implement. Within the 4 years that I've been at Thomas Jefferson Middle School, we implemented the Apply program, which is the special ed Apply program, basically like a resource class. So these are kids that may not can function well in the inclusion setting, like a larger setting. So we broke them down to maybe 5 to 10 kids in a class for English or math. And that started maybe 3 years ago, and that program is still going because we have seen the projections and the trajectory move forward for those kids and move in an upward trajectory for those students. And then the newcomer cohort was something that we did this year. And again, I've been working closely with Ms. Knowlton on that, and we've seen the projections trend upward for those students as well. So we started everything off as a pilot, not to throw anything to the wall and hope that it sticks. We're starting small, and then we're expanding. And so with that applied program and that newcomer cohort, we're still going with that. So those were 2 pilot programs. So it's just a show to the passion of my team that we do follow through with what we do. Expected growth from the Ignite pilot program, we're looking for that. Now, I am only responsible for Thomas Jefferson Middle School, but Dr. Portery did charge me with asking me upon our initial proposal, what happens when they get to high school? How do you follow through with that? And so that was a great question. So, of course, I did my research. And so more high school credits offered on the middle school level was my initial response to him, because initially, if these kids, these are current sitting 5th graders that will be in 6th grade next year, right? So by the time they get in 8th grade, the expectation for us on the middle school campus still is an English 1 pathway and an IPC pathway, which are 2 additional high school credits on the middle school level. High school credits currently offer expand pathways. So we're looking at, we already have Algebra 1, we already have CTE, and we already have Spanish 1. So if we do add English 1 and IPC, those kids can possibly leave middle school with 5 high school credits. And so that's the initial growth. Now, when I looked at what can happen in the high school area, that's not my arena, I'm only responsible, so this is only for the proposal purposes. High school academies could be things such as STEM and P-TECH pathways, and I've listed those there, and that's just a part of my research, or expanding the early college options contingent upon the partner college options with an Associate of Arts in Business field of study, teaching concentration, pre-health occupations, communications, social behavioral science, and criminal justice, and an Associate of Science in either mathematics, life science, pre-med, and physical science. But again, that is only contingent upon the offerings from that partner college. Again, these are pending requisitions that we've had. I asked the teachers to give me a wish list. And I said, give me a wish list and I'll see what I can do. It was the end of the year, as you all know, and we had to comb through the budget on the funding that I had left from the school year. The total ended up being $20,040.09. Thanks to Ms. Davis and Ms. Brady, we were able to fund every single thing that the teachers requested out of our local budget. And so we are happy about that. Ms. Insel, my financial secretary, worked tirelessly with Ms. Brady. I had conversations with Ms. Davis, and we got it done. So I am very, very happy that we were very financially responsible. And I know that Dr. Portery is very proud of me as well, because he said, where's the money coming from? And I said, don't worry, Doc, I got it. And so I'm happy about that we did fund everything. And some of the information may actually be new to some of my teachers here, but everything has been funded. All the requisitions are in, and so they will have they will definitely have their materials. And some of them, Ms. Boudreaux shared with me tonight that some of that material has already come in. And so we are happy about that. And in conclusion, an Ignite program at Thomas Jefferson Middle School will provide much needed opportunities for our gifted students to thrive academically and socially. By implementing this program, we ensure that all students receive the education they deserve, fostering a culture of excellence and innovation at our school. We look forward to discussing this proposal further and working collaboratively to make this vision a reality. Before we end, I did provide the pilot proposal to you all in writing. And so included in there is just the handbook that they will be given once accepted and the first day of school starts. The Ignite application is in there as well with what I have given to Dr. Crochet, Ms. Sharp, Mr. Sampson, and Mr. Taylor. Mr. Jimenez cannot be with us tonight, but he is a part of my feeder pattern elementary schools as well. So I do have 5 principals that I am working with currently to get this initiative off the ground, and I will meet with them also. Of course, the PowerPoint is included and the requisitions that have been purchased as well. Thank you so much. I'll take questions at this time.
Anybody have any questions? Ms. Jones?
I don't really have a question on it. I just want to say, job well done. This is a very, very great presentation. It was put together very well. I like the way you all collaborated. with the elementary schools, with all of the educators. I think it is an awesome, awesome idea. I'm really excited about it. I know the kids will, and this is the type of energy that we really need and desire across the board with everyone, because not only did you get it together, you did your research, financially it fit. I mean, everything is just perfect on it, and it benefits our children. So I don't really have any comments or anything. I support it wholeheartedly, and it is a very great job, and I hope that I'm ready to see it,
Yeah.
go even to higher heights from here.
Thank you so much, Vice President Johnson.
Anybody else?
I do. You picked the right name for this, because while you were presenting, I literally got ignited. And I really, truly, truly appreciate that this is a pilot program to start off with, for one. But I'm more so really appreciative of the mission statement that you have here in the handbook. And for those of you who can't see it, I'll read it for you. It says, if a child can't learn the way we teach, maybe we should teach the way they learn. And I really want to put emphasis on that, because even as I'm sitting on two boards right now, higher education and on this board, we're seeing a trajectory in education that we have never seen before. And we really have to prepare ourselves to become innovative, because even though the world is constantly changing, we still have to do our jobs of teaching children to get them to be what we need them to be successful. And so I really appreciate you putting emphasis on that. I also want to applaud you all on the group effort. That says a lot about your leadership. Your group effort, with you just bringing your faculty and staff and your team members here, I want to commend you and the team for that. And I also want to commend, I don't want to mess up the name. What do you call the principals you're working with?
I'm a feeder pattern campus.
Feeder patterns, yeah, I didn't want to mess that up. I appreciate that, mainly because, and this is not a shade to anyone, but it's true, since I've been in this district, it's always been these little ISDs, and now we're seeing all one ISD, PAISD, coming together, and I really appreciate that, because these children are going to come from these campuses and feed into your campus and then go to the high school, where they will all be connected and be consistent. Also, I appreciate the innovative approach that you're taking to tailoring these classes to these students, and the clear vision, and of course, their exposure. You said something that I tell people all the time, especially in education. We hear these things about, oh, the house isn't doing this, the house isn't doing that, but we have to get away from that mentality, because we are now the house. We have these children more than what most of their parents do, and it's true what you said. Most kids don't know how to ride a bike, don't know how to do a lot of things for themselves that we can do on the campus. So you have my full support. There should not be any problems financially. I mean, we spend over $25,000 on IXL for math, and I don't know how much that's working just looking at the scores. So we really need to invest in the things that we are doing to be innovative, that are working for our students. So congratulations, kudos, job well done. You have my support. I can't wait to see this to grow and thrive, and hopefully be shared amongst our district at both middle schools.
Thank you, Trustee Gilwood.
You go first.
Thank you, Dr. Brown. Thank you, President Lofton. Well put together proposal. The questions that I want to ask, this is in here in detail. One thing I can say is, don't worry about what's going to happen. I know personally, knowing you personally, anything that you put your hands on, it flourishes. So just seeing the support that you have from your family, from your faculty and staff, we know this is something that's going to be great in the works and great in the making for Thomas Jefferson Middle School. And whatever I can do to help to move this even further than what it is, let me know. I'm very supportive of this.
Thank you, Trustee Barty.
Dr. Brown.
I'll ask the question, but don't answer until I make a comment. My question is, where do you see it growing toward? In other words, what kind, you said starting as a pilot with 25 students, what are you looking for in the future in terms of numbers? But before you answer, let me just acknowledge what other trustees have already mentioned about vision. I appreciate thinking outside the box, just thinking at all. Too often what we find ourselves doing in education is just doing what we've always done. If you do that well, that's good enough, right? But it's not good enough in any organization, particularly in educating our children. But I also am so impressed with and proud to see so many educators here in the house this evening. How'd you do that? Don't answer that. But really, this is, Dr. Porter, this is really pretty impressive. See, this many faculty and staff members and neighbors and, you know, even my next door neighbors. Anyway, we've got a lot of people here for this presentation. I'm just so proud to see that. And finally, you know, I'm glad to see reference to the arts. Too often, people, they appreciate the arts. They may go to a program or turn on television or go to church or whatever. And almost every instance, there's some kind of reference to the arts. But we don't take time in our education programs very routinely. We don't take time to appreciate the arts by putting money where we wish things would go. So I'm just glad to see that. Even I met a lady today who was involved with costume design. And I never thought of what that was necessarily until we had the conversation. And they were making reference to some so-called superstars in the field and how they were helping design their costumes. Just go to Walmart or go to Dillard's. But it's not that simple, obviously. Is it, Trustee Getwood? So but just the idea that we're talking about the arts in that way, that we're talking about teaching our children, I'm just so impressed with and proud of. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you, Trustee Brown.
Anybody else?
The question.
The question. Oh, where do I see it growing? I see it
It took me a
growing.
minute to finish it.
Yeah, I see it growing to the 5 high school credits by the time they reach 8th grade, because every year we plan on expanding. So as they move up, we plan on moving and expanding. However, now, I do need classrooms to expand, but we have to move it up and expand every year, kind of like you're growing, when you start over and you're growing the new grade level. So like the current 25 pilot will move up to 6th grade. So that's going to stay 25 because we're not going to add to them because they're already within their cohort. Right. And so then maybe next year it could possibly grow to 50. And then the next year is 75 until we can, expand as much as we can service. So if those students are qualified for those services, we want to service all of them. All the ones that we can service, that's how big I want to be. And then moving to that high school arena, I would like to see them be able to, this is just my vision, but I would like to see them be able to get associates in different areas, not just one, blanket area, so that can actually be a little bit more beneficial to them in their career interest.
Thank you.
Mr. Iron.
Dr. Lewis, we go way back, and I know you can get the job done. You came here tonight with your A game, everything laid out on the table for us. So you have my support 100%, you and your team.
Thank you so much, Trustee Brown.
Dr. Lewis, I just want to commend you and your staff for always blazing a way for our students to succeed and to thrive. And then I like the way how you put a well-together pilot program, and I know that the cohort will succeed.
Thank you so much, Secretary Narcisse.
Last but not least, me. Dr. Lewis, I fully support this. It's basically along the same lines of back in the day when we used to have Summit. How it started out with Summit, just a few here, a few there, and look how it became. It became big to where kids start competing to be in that program when they were in 5th grade. So I think that's what we're going for. That when those kids get in 5th grade, they're gonna want to do so good to compete to get into your program, and I really think that's gonna be sooner than later.
Yes.
Because of the work you put in, the fire you have in you, the support you have by the elementary school teachers, principals that's gonna be pushing that program. So I thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, President Lofton. And I just want to again thank the feeder pattern principals for being here, because I do recognize and realize that you have to build a house from the bottom up and not the top down. And so by getting them to get on board with me and collaborate with me and help me identify those students on their levels, we can actually create something great here. So I'm excited about it as well.
Yes.
Dr. Lewis and to the staff of Thomas Jefferson, congratulations once again. We are always here to support creative ideas. One thing about Thomas Jefferson and their staff, and I've noticed, you never hear them say they're tired. And they're always going outside the box. There's always something new, something different, and that's commendable. I know they're tired, but you never hear it. And they're always smiling, as they are tonight. So that's a good thing. And I don't know how she got them here, but they always look happy. So I don't know what she's doing. Someone
just taking them out to eat when they need.
Well, someone just said she cooked something, but I won't say that. That's how she got one of them here. And to our principals, thank you for coming. I know you're tired. And we're preparing for one more START test. You all are done. No, one more. You're done, but we still have one more on the 29th. So thank you for being here. Thank you for your work. Thank you for your creativity. Dr. Lewis always reminds me that she is the second largest campus in the district with 864. So I get that all, that's how she greets me. So she makes sure she makes sure I know exactly what she's doing and how she's doing. So congratulations to you. Thank you for your forethought. Thank you for doing something extra. Because we hear so many times, I'm tired, the kids can't do, but you all come up with something different to make sure that they do. And it works. It works. So thank you. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you, principals, and everyone else that's here. Thank you.
Dr. Ford, I just actually have one more question that just popped up. As I was thinking about this program, have we, as a district, started preparing ourselves just in case the bond is passed and we do have to, of course, consolidate to one middle school to ensure that this program will continue at that new middle school?
Absolutely. Once again, and I'll discuss that a little bit when we talk about the bond. I have a bond report.
Okay.
And I'll answer that question at that time for design. Okay, thank you. Next, now we have Ms. Jill Moody, who's going to come and tell us. Now, Dr. Lewis just presented the future. Ms. Moody is going to present the current and what's happening right now with our gifted and talented. So it's thriving. I don't see her teacher, so she'll let us know who they are and do them, but they do a magnificent job.
Good evening. As stated earlier, I'm Jill Moody. I'm the coordinator of assessment and instructional support. So with that, maybe I should wait. I'll wait.
They're still jovial. Even this time, it's almost 8 o'clock. They're still jovial.
So I'm the coordinator of assessment and instructional support. So normally when I'm here, I'm talking about data accountability, and I'm a little bit more bubbly, so forgive me. For the Gifted and Talented program, Dr. Tatiana Morales-Owens is the Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum, Instruction, and Assessment. She is one of the persons who oversees the Gifted and Talented program. And then we have two GT teachers, Ms. Valerie Harrison and Ms. Pamela Mahan. And they both had prior engagements, so they were unable to be here. So they did have a lot of input within the presentation, so a lot of their views and what goes on will be mentioned tonight. Ms. Harrison covers, so there's two GT teachers and they do pull out. So they go to the campuses each day throughout the week and they pull out the GT students at the elementary level. So Ms. Harrison has Lakeview. She has Booker T. Washington and DeQueen, of course, because they're K2 and 3-5. So she just goes ahead and covers the K5. She has Terrell and she has Adams. And then Ms. Mahan has Port Acres, Travis, and Sam Houston. So what are gifted and talented students? Gifted talented students are students who perform at or show the potential of performing at a remarkably high level of accomplishment when compared to others of the same age, experience, or environment, and who exhibit high performance capability in an intellectual, creative, or artistic area. They possess an unusual capacity for leadership, or they excel in a specific academic field. And I just want to emphasize it's an or, not an and. So some students may be musically gifted, some students may be intellectually gifted. How are students referred? So pretty much anyone can refer a student to the Gifted Talented program. So that can be an educator, a parent, a community member, or the student themselves. Usually in the fall, we put out a QR code and a flyer on our district's website and on the Facebook page. And any community member that has a student that they suspect or feel may be gifted talented, they can scan that QR code and fill out that referral form. So what are we currently using to test the gifted talented students or potential gifted talented students? I'm not going to go over the numbers, but we use their iReady diagnostics, their NWEA map growth, the COGAT as was mentioned earlier, the teacher jot down, and then the parent questionnaire. So we usually, again, as I mentioned, we have referrals in the fall. So we did have our referrals September for about a month from September to October. In the fall, there were 652 students that were screened, 592 students that were tested, and there were 111 students that were identified. So for the 25-26 school year, at the elementary level, there will be 192 students. Just to give a district number, so as of the 2024 taper, we have 4.5% of our students are identified as gifted talented, which is 358 students. Teachers are required to be proficient in knowing who our GT students are, how to nurture their gifts and talents, and how to provide instruction for those students. So they are required to have any teacher that teaches a student who qualifies for gifted and talented, they're required to have 30 hours of gifted talented instruction, and then they're required to update that 6 hours every year. So the students get classroom instruction, again, by those gifted talented teachers, and then they're also pulled out during the week by either Ms. Harrison or Ms. Mahan. The GT students also go on field trips, so this is just pictures of the 3rd grade GT students on their field trip, A Very Electric Christmas. 4th grade went to Shangri-La, and 5th grade went to the Nature's River. They were also wanting to incorporate 6th grade this year. Looks like 6th grade has been taken care of, so we're going to move forward. And then we also have our Blue Bonnet program. So each year, our students participate in the Texas Blue Bonnet Award program, a statewide reading initiative sponsored by the Texas Library Association. So students in grades 3 through 6 are encouraged to read at least 5 books from the Blue Bonnet list, and then we basically have a Blue Bonnet brunch where they receive an award. So these are just pictures from that Blue Bonnet brunch. So we have all the elementary campuses. And as mentioned, you know, the middle school students, kind of once they go to middle school, they're kind of left by the wayside. So we wanted to make sure that we incorporated and brought in the middle school this year. So the plan was to bring in 6th grade this year, then the 7th graders the next year, and then just continue to have those students participate. This year they added a new component of the Blue Bonnet Brunch. So instead of the students doing the book talk videos, which were like presentations summarizing the book, they actually had a gallery walk where the students dressed up like the character from the Blue Bonnet book, and then they also presented on that character. Of course, I'm going to give you scores. I'm the testing coordinator. So here are the scores of our gifted talented students. As you can see, I'm not going to read every number. They're performing well. They're at 100%, 90-something% approaches. They're doing pretty well in meets, and they're doing well in masters, but definitely want to see them perform because they are gifted students. I truly believe they could be master students, so that would be an area for growth and something that we want to work on. But of course, they're passing. They're meeting the grade level standard. The left is reading, the right is math. And then there are science and social studies. And I'm sorry, I didn't mention, but this is grades 3 through 8. And then, of course, we only do 5th and 8th science, and we only do 8th grade social studies. And then these are even our EOC scores as well for our gifted talented students. And that was all I have.
Any questions? No, ma'am. Thank you, Ms. Moody.
Thank you, Mrs. Moody. Mrs. Moody does a great job. She's clear, and there's a lot with testing, and there are a lot of changes over and over again. So we thank her for her efforts and her calming effects. Okay, we're going to move on. We're going to move forward and not have the updates, the district highlights at this board meeting. We'll have them on the 13th when we return. Then we'll go on, and just to give you some highlights, I'm going to pass something out, so I want to give you an update on our bond, our bond proposal. I want you to see, this came out, this was sent to Mrs. Davis and I, and it's preliminary Texas ISD May 2025 bond elections. And how many school districts? There are 91 districts in the state of Texas that are going out for bonds. And the total volume, $13,164,466. But I want to bring your attention to one. You remember I was saying our 300 million. But look at Salina, I think that's how it's pronounced. That's not Selena, it's Salina. 2,295,695,579. Now, they're getting 10, they're trying to build 10 new schools, along with so many more things. So it's not just Port Arthur that's out there trying to upgrade their facilities, because they know that it's growing, and they want their children to see what they can do, and they want their children to have better. For our reasons in Port Arthur, we did look at our facilities, and we come up with a bond proposal that you have approved. Proposition A consists of middle school. It consists of the expansion of our career technical education, the bilingual offices and classrooms, along with HVAC and buses from the savings. Proposition B is for the stadium, in which our community did come to us and ask us, if you recall, during a board meeting, and ask us to consider, which you all have. We're gonna change, hold on one second. I do want to go over real quick. Let's see. I see all the A's. Let's see. That's not, something that's happening. Let's see. I want to back up. I want to get rid of this. Okay.
No, but this.
It's not, I did backspace. I did front space.
Well, then we just gonna do this right here. There's a guy.
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to get it to, that's what I'm trying to get to. Okay, as we do have a bond page that has been very, very valuable. The first thing, we have our home page, and we had our town hall meetings. We've had 5, actually. We didn't get a chance to get to Ecclesia, but we've had 5 town hall meetings that were very, very good. And then we have proposed projects. I know there was a question about renderings, but I do want to say we did not do renderings because when you get an architect to draw your facility, that costs money. We haven't spent anything, it's zero. Now, obviously, architects will charge you 3 to 15% of the construction costs to draw a school. We're not to that point yet of drawing our schools, but you do have some renderings here, just for you to see the middle school. The CTE building, which would be constructed to the north side of the building, it would be double the size, which is the second, and then you see the aerial view of the CTE. And also the newcomer rendering, which would be an addition in this red area to the front of our administration building, and you can see it at the newcomer on the aerial. Also, our middle schools, we're looking and we're talking. We have to come to a realization that we have to change with the times. When we first started talking, when Dr. Brown said in Atlanta, I think it was Atlanta, he's been a part of building, I think, a 5-story school. Sometimes we don't think that we can do things in Port Arthur. We think that things are just out of our reach, and it's not. So we were looking at a 2-level, and even for myself, when the architect that we're working with first said a 3-level, I cringed. I'm like, oh, wow. But then as we've talked, as we've thought about it, a 3-level is not out of the realm of possibility. Mr. Goodwood did ask about the programming. Well, let me say this. We are not moving into a new school. If the bond does pass in May, we're not moving into a new school in August, which I think some people actually believe. It takes time. It takes 6 months to a year and a half to even design a school.
Yeah.
Then we have to, after we design it, then you have to go out for contractors, you have to go out for bidding, you have to do subcontracting, then you have to come back, and then you have to actually order the materials. Then you have to build it. So we're looking for 3 to 5 years. So we are looking at how to do this, and it's designed based on our curriculum. So we said about the middle school that we were looking at definitely 3 pods, a 6th, 7th, and 8th grade pod. Each would have its own administrators, clerical, counselors, and of course, security. We also, let's see, that was our home page, projected projects, what we're saying. we had Proposition A, Proposition B. The CTE expansion, we're excited. And I'm not sure if you know this, but I was looking up some information about our kids and what we need to do in order to propose or get our students up to par. We're trying to add some new additional expansion programs. There has been since 2021, starting the 2021 year, up until the present and moving toward 28, there has been $79,995,000,000 in expansion in Jefferson County. Just in Jefferson County, almost $80 billion. And what they've asked us is they need a workforce. They need students to come out of our district ready to go to work, and that is what we're trying to do. We add the electrical, the pipe fitting, the maritime, the process technology, the cybersecurity, robotics, teaching and training, and barbering. So we're excited about the additional expansion of the programs for the CTE building. Our newcomers building, as we've stated, we have newcomers coming every day, every day. We're about 55% Hispanic, 37% African American, 1.9% Asian. But we have to, it's mandated that we address our newcomers through Title III, first of all, and I think it was Title I and Title III. So we have to make sure that we are prepared and not only help our students, but help our parents as well. The students come here, they're in a new country, some of them speak zero English, some of them not coming to kindergarten, but coming to 2nd, 4th, 9th grade and have never attended school. So we really have to make sure that we address those issues for our students. And also, we talked about the consolidated middle schools. And we talked about why we would do that, how we would do it. Lincoln is going to take $117 million just to renovate. Thomas Jefferson, over $200 million. And I have stated that the back of the building is separating. We've done a good job at trying to maintain it, but it is currently separating. So if we don't address it, we still have to put money into it to make sure that it lasts for however long this community expects it to last. The next thing, the location. We talked about location, and we are, a lot of our community, where is it going to be? Well, we're in conversation with the city, and we also have landowners that we're talking with as well for areas that are close to the Memorial High and Memorial High School 9. If we have to, there is land from TJ, from the east side of TJ all the way to the auxiliary field. We own that land. So we could put it there, and there are several other locations that we are looking at. Let me go back to the top. Our tax impact. The question is, how can we do a zero tax rate increase? Some people don't believe it, some people, and we haven't. And I'll say this, we've had two bonds that the 2007 bond, I think it was, the 2008 bond. Then we have the 2014, and we are paying those bonds back, no problem. And if our community paid attention, they would see that most of us have received our JCAD letters, and our homes have decreased. The land has increased, but the homes have decreased. So we're not causing the citizens of Port Arthur to have an increase, tax increase. I'm going to ask Mr. Clarence Greer to come up at this time to explain how we can get a $300 million bond at a zero tax increase. And the same with, and I was reading, the same with Salina, a $2.3 billion without a tax increase. So it's not just us. There are other districts doing the same thing for their communities and their students.
Good evening, and I have some prepared remarks. I can answer it directly, but I do have some background information as well to support it. But you're exactly right. Your authorization of $300 million is primarily looked at because you've been very good stewards in making extra payments on existing debt. And when you look at all the successful elections that you've had over the years, going back to 2008 of $8 million that qualifies on Academy bond. And, $8 million, that's been paid off. So you're constantly repaying debt, and you have about, when you aggregate all that up, it's about $500 million that voters have approved since 2001. And you can have some materials that show what's outstanding is about $300 million. So you can see that the taxpayers have been making payments on the 2001 election and subsequent elections, and some of those elections are already been repaid. And so what you're left with is your values have continued to grow. Now, we had a challenging period where you had some contesting of some of your top taxpayers, and that caused your values to decline for several years, but that's been addressed in your future 313 agreements, and we don't even have to worry about that anymore. Those values moving lower. So basically, that sets the background to what we do. Most of your peers, they look at their values and they make a projection of where things are going to be, not necessarily the affordability today, but based upon the historical growth rate, where the values will grow and what will be affordable based upon those assumptions. And they're limited to, the state of Texas limits you to a maximum amount of debt you can have outstanding. There are certain tests that we have to comply with at the Texas Attorney General's office, where we work with your bond counsel, Lance Fox, to make sure that we're in compliance with. But there are a couple things that allows you to do it. Number one, if you didn't do anything, we'll continue to make those payments, and you'll start seeing that your future debt will continue to go lower. So you have the materials, and and I can refer you to page number 4, and you can see that where it says outstanding par amount of bonds of $298 million is what's outstanding. It's right around $300 million. That's what's outstanding. But when you look at the bond election results on page 4 at the bottom, if you were to aggregate that amount up from 2001 for the school building, the QZAP science lab, all the way down to the November 2014, you'll take out the 89 million, because that was the only unsuccessful election Port Arthur's experienced. That aggregates up to about $500 million, or $500 million. And so you've paid off $200 million. So you've been very aggressive paying off. We'd love to have that even more aggressive, but your values fail, and we'll go through that with those lawsuits and cause some fluctuations in the revenue that you were taking in for your voted bonds. So being able to make those payments consistently has created the capacity to come back and now have an election with no tax rate increase. That's similar to what Salina's doing as well. In other districts in that position, you look at your value growth and where you've been at historically, what the growth has been, and let's kind of take a look at that on page number 6. You can see your values have continued to grow over the last 5 years. This is probably more indicative as 4%, and that's indicative of a post challenging of your top taxpayers for that had language that was omitted, that allowed them to sue the appraisal district and reduce your values. Now, you would make whole on your M&O side where you pay your teachers out of, but on your voter, your INS side of your budget, you were not. And so we were left, you can see how even the freeze adjusted values went from $8 billion, and it contracted all the way down to the $5.6 billion, and then $5.2 billion in 22, and then we got that straightened out, and it looks like there's knock on wood, no future lawsuits, and you move forward. Your value is going to be unabated. We're going to be close to $9 or $10 billion. That's not inconceivable in a few years. So based upon that assumption, you look at, well, we'll be able to afford $300 million. Now, are we selling $300 million all at once? Absolutely not. As Dr. Porter Reese said, it's going to take several months of planning just to get the programming going and architecture, the schematics, go from renderings to actual plans. That's going to take conceivably a year. And so what we're saying is, When you factor that in and allowing for the revenues to continue to grow, you'll be able to afford have the revenues to offset the future debt that will be layered on coming due. Because we want to make sure, because right now when you look at it, we're assuming that we sell $100 million a year for the next 3 years. And that's probably very aggressive. You're probably not going to do that. You're probably more likely to sell $100 million in first year, maybe 50 to 100 in year one, then come back in year 2.5, 3, and once you have the plans, and do another 50 to 100 million dollars. And so as you're having the need in order for the bonds to be sold, what's happening to your values? They're growing at the 3 or 4%, which gives you the ability to repay and afford $300 million without any tax rate increase. Because remember, we're at the 50-cent maximum right now, so we can't exceed that on the interest and sinking fund rate. But our values, when you look at on page 6, our total tax rate has continued to go lower. The maximum it's gone from $1.58 in 2021. Now we're down to $1.31, and that's primarily because the state of Texas has really moved forward with compression on your maintenance and operation budget, meaning that you look at your M&O tax rate. I remember a time it was $1.04 here, but if you go back beyond here, it was $1.50 at one point. Now it's compressed all the way down to $1.04 and to the 81 cents where you are now. And we believe it will probably continue to compress further as there's property tax reform at the state level. All of that helps us because knowing that we cannot exceed 50 cents, and there are other tests that Lance Fox have to comply with, notably that a certain percentage of your values can't be leveraged. We estimated that it's about $300 million that over time you'll be able to sell. And so that's how you come up with it, is that it's based upon a set of assumptions that assume that you don't need the money all at once and your values will continue to grow. Now, if your values don't grow, as we experienced the last election, and they actually contracted, we slow down the project and the whole program to comply with whatever we could sell at that point in time. You don't control how the values work or the economy. So we have to, what Solana is doing and others, instead of going out for $1 billion now and $1 billion later, they said, well, let's go ahead and tell the community what we need for the next 5 or 10 years, and we're done with it. And if something changes in our assumptions, that means that we didn't need it, we're not going to sell it. And you have state laws that you have to comply with will limit your ability to do that as well. And that's that's what we have find ourselves with as well. We don't meet our value growth of continuing growing from our $7 to $8 billion and keep it moving higher. We just slow down the projects into what we can afford. And so, and we should also experience values going lower on M&O. We can't guarantee that, but your maintenance operation budget should go down because that's based upon what the state is doing. And they've been pushing those rates lower through compression. So we could actually be looking at a total tax rate that's significantly lower than where we currently are today, even with the, so no tax rate increase. And so you're in a very, when you look at on page 7, Ms. Davis and her staff, and prior to her, Ms. Jeans, you have a long-standing history of sending that extra mortgage payment to the bank, which enables us to create that flexibility to take up that capacity and sell future bonds with no tax rate increase. And on page 7 is just an example of what we're scheduled to do. Again, is the fees about another $10 million, which will again help us with flexibility because there are debt limitations on how much you can actually sell and when you can have it sold based upon what they call the 50-cent test, and then how much leverage your values can be. So the fact of the matter is you haven't done, these are just renditions, you don't have plans, we're going to be very conservative. So the rollout would be much slower than what we're showing on page number 8. So on page number 8, on column numbers 11, 12, and 13, Again, we're assuming every August we're selling $100 million. That's very doubtful. It's more likely that we take 6 months to figure out where we are, and the first sale might not happen, Dr. Brown, until, next 3 to 6 months after the election, if that, maybe the following year. But that's where the consultant comes in with the architects and program manager and with Mr. Deese and her staff to kind of figure out what's needed. Now, in order to let a contract in Texas, you got to have identifiable funds. So you got to have access to the money. But I think it's going to take a long time for us to get our plans together before we start, incurring additional debt. So I think your values have time to grow, and based upon this set of assumptions, we should be fine. But it is clear, Dr. Porter Bean and board members, that when you look at the direction of where we're going on page 21, these are the current, just kind of tracking some of the bills that's in the Texas legislature. It's clear that the direction that the legislature has taken is that on page 21, that it's going to be more difficult to have an election in the future than it is today. Whether we're talking about the opportunity to call an election, I think when you look at there are certain bills that's out here that has been introduced that's proposing that there it is, election date. The one in the middle requires the bond elections be held on November only. And so we would have gone from, if that's successful, that you would only have an election on November in the future, effective September 1 of this year, which would mean a significant amount of elections occurring. There's another bill that was introduced in this legislature that says if you fail an election, you have to wait 2 years. There's a blackout period of 2 years. So what does that do to your market share as school choice is running at, is opening up? So these are good. The reasons why Solana and others like yourself say, let's look at the maximum amount that we could conceivably sell over time, where we don't have to go back to a different bond election with different rules. That's going to be much more difficult to abide by. And look at the ballot bill, where you have to put an increase. Say for the issuance, this is a tax rate increase. It has to be in bold and in capital. It's on the ballot, but they want to make it, a little bit bigger, and then increase, and then also put the amount of money that you're indebted in. So kind of almost to scare, if you will, your potential voters that, wow, all this debt, and so it's very difficult in the future. It's difficult now, but in the future it's going to be more difficult. So we arrived at the $300 million. That's an outside number. You can't achieve it right now. We're going to need growth. If we don't get the growth, we will just delay some of the projects. But there's a core of 100 to 200 million that you can do based on your values currently.
Yeah. Well, I just want to say thank you, Mr. Greer, for that, because you always do a great job of really kind of helping the common eye who does not really do this for a living understand it. And this is a statement. It's not more so to anything you've said. I think for me, the understanding is clear. This is the perfect time to do it. This is the perfect time to go ahead and make a move on it because of how we have been fiscally responsible and maneuvering through it. The only thing, and when I mentioned programming for me is not more so on the construction of the school. It's more so just on the combining of the two. That's the only place where I have my real concern. Is consolidating both Thomas Jefferson and Lincoln. And I will be quite honest as to why. I mean, we all know the accountability system came out today for the 23 school year. And if you look at Thomas Jefferson and look at Lincoln, none of them are performing to par. And so if we're going to consolidate these two, these are two very extremely low performing schools that will become one. So when I'm talking about programming, I'm really making sure that we as a district, as district leaderships are really putting ourselves in a position to say, we know we have to create this school not next year, we have some time, but let's go ahead and start figuring out how we're going to put this thing into place to where when we do construct it, we're able to walk in and say, we know for a fact what we're providing to our students is going to be of quality, not more so, hey, we got this new school building, we need new buildings because Lincoln and TJ are falling apart, but making sure that we're looking holistically at it program-wise. And mainly, supporting things like what I just heard today. I'm really glad to hear about this Ignite, because also when you talk about consolidation, and it's not a secret, we've been through this before with our city. When we consolidated 3 schools into 1, we've seen what it did to the city. When we consolidate schools, we're taking 2 of everything and creating 1. That's 2 football teams that now become 1, 2 choirs that now become 1, 2 theater arts programs that now become 1. We have to have things put in place strategically for those students who won't be a part of that number, so they won't fall justice to whatever we just throw them out. So that's what I mean when I'm talking about programming, making sure that not only are we thinking with the end in mind for the infrastructure of the building, but program-wise, where are we with making sure that we're not just putting 2 low-performing schools together and saying, here we go, we got a new middle school, let's name it. That's what I'm referring to.
In case pointed, but once again, Thomas Jefferson is not low performing, okay? In 23, remember, those scores came out for 23. We've had tested in 24, and we will complete and tested in 25. And I am sure our scores are gonna come up. We were coming out of COVID in 23. So, I mean, the state of Texas was in trouble in 23. So it wasn't just us. And yes, as we design our school, all of that will become vivid, and we know what we need to do in order to address. And when you say yes, it's going to be 2 choirs, it's going to make it larger. It's going to be athletics, going to make our teams larger. We have to figure out exactly what it is that's best for our students and try and do the very best we can. And we are in, and we're not in competition with anyone else. We're in competition with ourselves. Yes. Any other questions for Mr. Greer? Thank you so much for, you did an excellent job at just trying to get people to understand about the $300 million. I don't know if they think the taxes are gonna go up $50,000 a year, but I mean, and I'm gonna, and let me say this, and maybe I shouldn't say it, but I'm going to say it. We live in Port Arthur. I don't see many $500,000 homes around here in Port Arthur. I'm just gonna say it. So I mean, that's just it. I don't know of any $1 million homes in Port Arthur. So if it goes up, if it would go up, what do you want for your community? What do you want for your students, for your children? And that's all we're asking. Consider the future. Consider what we owe to our students, both academically and facility-wise.
Yes.
They need to see where we can do things in our own community. And I've said this before, if we don't do it for our kids in our community in Port Arthur, no one else is coming to Port Arthur and helping us.
I just want to associate myself with what Dr. Porter just said, but also, do you have the figure with you, Mr. Greer, about what the average taxpayer would pay in a year, assuming that?
Yeah, so there's no tax rate increase, and so it'll be paying what they were paying now.
Okay.
Right, and in fact,
that's the point.
And in fact, and that's a great point, Dr. Brown, because there's legislation to increase the homestead exemption to the 100,000, and which would lower homestead values, and of course, if you're over 65, you're frozen.
But now, but the percentage that's paid typically by the plants for taxes.
Absolutely, overwhelmingly, I think.
Over 80%, right?
About 80%.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so,
right.
and when you look at what's happening, they're becoming more valuable. So your value should grow based upon that alone,
right?
Not the household. Excellent point, Dr. Brown. And Dr. Porter, excellent points.
Thank you. We're done. Well, thank you, Mr. Greer, for traveling from
Absolutely.
Houston. We
Yes.
appreciate you've been with
Good
us
luck.
quite a number of years, so you know the ins and outs of Port Arthur.
Yes, sir.
So we definitely appreciate you. Board members, that concludes our staff reports.
Thank you, Dr. Porter. We will now do minutes. Consider and if appropriate, approve minutes of the March 27th, 2025 regular Board of Trustees meeting. I have a motion.
So move for approval. Second.
Motion was made by Mr. Narcisse, approved by Mr. Getwood. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Next, we have consent agenda. The following items, which are of a routine and are recurring nature, have been designated consent agenda items by the board president per policy B local. All of the items in the consent agenda will be acted upon by one vote without being discussed separately unless requested by a trustee, in which event the item or items will be withdrawn immediately for individual consideration in its normal sequence after the items not requiring separate discussion have been acted upon. Dr. Porter, I think we're pulling number 14 and 15.
Yes.
So we'll take a look at numbers 1 through 13. 14, 15 has been pulled, and we will not be voting on those.
So move for approval.
Second.
I have a motion made by Mr. Getwood, second by Ms. Diane Brown. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Next, we have personnel. We're considering, if appropriate, the proposed non-renewal of term contracts of professional employees. I need a motion. Need a motion.
So move for approval.
Second.
Motion was made by Mr. Narcisse, approved by Mr. Getwood. Next, we'd have considering, if appropriate.
You have to vote.
Call for vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, next we have considering, if appropriate, approve employment of the Assistant Superintendent of Operations, Dr. Porter.
Yes. Yes, President Lofton Board, I am asking for your approval for the Assistant Superintendent of Operations, Ms. Kayla Jacobs.
Need a motion? Second. I would like to do an individual vote on this one. Yes?
Vice President Johnson,
Yes.
Secretary Narcisse,
Yes.
Trustee Barty,
Yes.
Trustee Diane Brown,
Yes.
Trustee Dr. Brown,
Yes.
Trustee Edwards.
Yes.
So that was 6 days for the vote.
Seven.
Seven.
Oh, 7.
Seven. Motion approval has passed for Ms. Kelly Jacobs as Assistant Superintendent of Operations. Next, we will consider, if appropriate, approve employment of Athletic Director, Dr. Porter.
President Lofton, Board members, I am asking for the approval of Ms. Nicole Harris as the Athletic Director for Port Arthur ISD.
So move for approval.
Second.
Motion was made by Mr. Narcisse, second by Ms. Johnson.
Getwood.
Mr. Getwood, approved by Ms. Johnson. We'd also like to do a roll call vote on it.
President Lofton,
Yes.
Vice President Johnson,
Yes.
Secretary Narcisse,
No.
Trustee Barty,
Yes.
Trustee Diane Brown,
Yes.
Trustee Dr. Brown,
Yes.
Trustee Getwood.
Yes.
Motion is,
That was 6 yeas to 1. 6 yeas to 1 nay.
yes, was voted 6-1. Mr. Cole Harris is the new Athletic Director for Port Arthur Independent School District. Next, we have considering, if appropriate, approve employment of head girls basketball coach. Need a motion?
So move for approval.
Motion was made by Dr. Brown and second by Mr. Narcisse.
Getwood.
Same thing. Mr. Getwood. We'd also like to do a roll call vote on it.
I need to get the name first. I gotta give it to you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Boy, wear me out over here.
It's been a long meeting.
No, you just wear me out.
Yes, President Lofton and Board, I am recommending Mrs. Rashanta LeBlanc as head girls basketball coach.
I think now you need a motion. Oh, okay.
We're fine with the motion. Can you give us a roll call vote for Jacor Narcisse? Yes.
Vice President Johnson,
Yes.
Secretary Narcisse,
Yes.
Trustee Barty,
Yes.
Trustee Diane Brown,
Yes.
Trustee Dr. Brown,
Yes.
Trustee Getwood.
Yes.
That was 7 yeas.
Ms. Rashanta LeBlanc is now the new head girls basketball coach of Memorial. Next, we have considering, if appropriate, approve employment of teachers. Need a motion?
So move for approval.
Second.
Motion was made by Mr. Narcisse, second by Mr. Getwood. We don't need no roll call vote for this. We ain't got nobody impressed. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Information, Dr. Porter.
Yes, average daily attendance 91.14%, average daily enrollment 8,069.
We will now, Dr. Porter, I'm sorry, Dr.
I'm glad you're the president. No,
Yeah.
sit that chair. Listen, I want to make one comment before we close. It'll take about 15, 20 seconds. I want to applaud our superintendent for his presentation today for the Port Arthur Rotary Club, where he and 4 other panelists participated in the meeting today. You know, everybody's busy, right? But he took time out of his busy schedule today to make a great presentation. Just wanted to applaud him and thank him for that participation. It was a good program, and there's others who participated came from East Texas, Superintendent Clarksville, Independent School District, college professor who's Carolyn Brown's sister, another college professor who also works at the high school, who was a musician as well, and the dean of programs, educational programs for Lamar State College, Port Arthur. You know, and this is about trends in education. Just wanted to thank him for that, because it's not something he has to do, but we often talk about community engagement and relationships and getting out in the community and telling our story. He did a beautiful job today, and I want to thank him for that. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Dr. Brown.
We'll now call for adjournment at 8:35 p.m.
So moved.
Second.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ted Gilbert got something to say.
Oh.
Come on, man. Get your
I
bird.
do got something to say, because we're not going to leave here without at least singing happy birthday to our superintendent of schools, who came to work and came to board meeting and went to the Rotary on his birthday.
Wow.
We gonna sing happy birthday to our superintendent.
All right.
1, 2, 3.
Come on, go do it.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Dr. Boyd. Happy birthday to you. And many more.
We'll now call for adjournment at 8:36 p.m.